Good morning and welcome everybody to this Milan with the Admiral, that is, meeting with the Admiral, Mr. R. Hari Kumar. In an era where maritime strength defines national power, Admiral retired R. Hari Kumar commands respect and insight. A distinguished flag officer and former chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Hari Kumar has served the Indian Navy with dedication for over 4 decades. Today, we are all gathered here for a landmark engagement, Milan with the Admiral, a meeting to connect with one of India's foremost military minds. From commanding frontline warships to steering the Navy through turbulent times, Admiral Hari Kumar has seen it all and led from the forefront. As we embark on this meeting, the Milan, we look forward to his reflections on service, strategy, and the sea, and to being inspired by a life of duty, honor, and maritime vision. We look forward to an enriching academic engagement with the Admiral Hari Kumar today. Every auspicious occasion begins with invocation. Let us all stand in unison for the Tamil Thai Valthu, the invocation to Mother Tamil.
നീരാറും കടലുടുത്ത നിലമടந்த കീഴൊഴുകും സീരാറും പതനമെന തിരപരത കണ്ടമിത് തെക്കനവും മതിൽ ചിറந்த ദ്രാവിഡനൽ തിരുനാടും തക്ക സിறு പിറനുതലും തരിത്തനരും തിലകമുമേ அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
May I now invite our industrious and esteemed registrar, Dr. P. Thirumal Valavan, a man of integrity and a distinguished academic leader, to deliver the welcome address.
Respected Chief Guest Admiral R. Hari Kumar, former Chief of the Naval Staff of Indian Navy, Honorable Chancellor Dr. A.P. Majid Khan, in absentia, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Sri M.S. Faisal Khan, in absentia, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Tessie Thomas, distinguished guests, faculty members, beloved students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. A nation's strength is not only measured by its economy or resources, but by the courage of its people and the guardians who protect its shores. It is with immense pleasure and joy that I extend a warm welcome to this august gathering on the occasion of Milan with Admiral, organized by Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education. This is a landmark event in our institution's journey as we come together to celebrate the spirit of the Indian Navy and to draw inspiration from one of its most illustrious leader, Admiral R. Hari Kumar. Admiral R. Hari Kumar's journey is truly extraordinary. Commissioned into the Indian Navy in 1983, he went on to serve the nation with distinction for more than 4 decades, from commanding frontline warships including the prestigious aircraft carrier INS Virat to leading the Indian Navy as its 25th Chief of Naval Staff. His leadership reflects dedication, courage, and vision. His initiatives in modernizing naval operations, introducing transformative reforms like the Agnipath scheme, and strengthening India's maritime presence worldwide have left an enduring legacy. On behalf of Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education, I extend our heartfelt gratitude and deepest respect to Admiral Hari Kumar for gracing this occasion. Welcome you, sir. I also take this opportunity to extend a very special and heartfelt welcome to our Honorable Chancellor Dr. A.P. Majid Khan in absentia. A warm and respectful word of welcome. A warm and respectful word of welcome is also extended to our Honorable Pro-Chancellor Sri M.S. Faisal Khan in absentia. I also have great pleasure in welcoming Madam Hari Kumar for this auspicious function. Welcome you, Madam. I also have a great pleasure in welcoming our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Tessie Thomas, the Missile Woman of India. Her achievements in India's missile program have made her as an icon of science and technology. Her presence here today is both inspiring and motivating to all our students, especially for young women aspiring to break barriers in STEM fields. Welcome you, Madam. Adding to this dignity of the occasion, I am delighted to extend a heartfelt welcome to distinguished invitees from Indian Naval Veterans Society and the Defense Fraternity. Mr. Manoj Kumar, Vice President of Indian Naval Veterans Society, Thiruvananthapuram. Welcome you, sir. And Mr. Babu Pradeep, President of the Indian Naval Veterans Society, Thiruvananthapuram. Welcome you, sir. Mr. Biju K. Matthew, IIS, Spokesperson of Ministry of Defence, Thiruvananthapuram. Welcome you, sir. And also the Deputy Station Commander, Indian Navy, Lieutenant Commander Rahul. Welcome you, sir. We are truly privileged to have your presence with us today, which not only enriches the gathering but also strengthens the bond between the academic community and our nation's defense forces. Your presence here today reflects the strong bond between Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education and the naval community, and we are truly honored to have you in our midst. I warmly welcome our Pro-Vice Chancellors, Dr. K.A. Janardhanam and Dr. A. Sajin Nargunam, for this auspicious occasion. Welcome you, sir. It is with great pleasure I welcome the Controller of Examination, Deans, Heads of the Departments, faculty members, and all our other distinguished guests, including Dr. Nalikishan Nair and John Leon, for this occasion. Welcome you, sir. Above all, a very special word of welcome goes to our beloved students, the pride and future of this university. Dear students, today's program is designed for you to help you understand the role of Indian Navy to ignite within you the values of discipline and leadership, and to explore the vast career opportunities that await you in our nation's defense forces. The interaction with Admiral Hari Kumar will surely be a moment of inspiration, offering you lessons in courage, commitment, and service to the nation. As we begin this memorable day, let us open our minds and hearts to the wisdom and experience that will be shared. May this event inspire us all to contribute to the nation building with renewed dedication and pride. Sorry, I missed Dr. Shyam Mohan. Welcome you, sir. Once again, on behalf of Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education, I extend a cordial and hearty welcome to each one of you. The winds and waves are always on the side of the ablest navigators. May today's interaction guide us to navigate our lives with courage, discipline, and service to the nation. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your warm and gracious words of welcome. May I now invite Dr. Tessie Thomas, Vice Chancellor, NISH, to deliver the presidential address.
Very respected distinguished chief guest, Admiral R. Hari Kumar, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, ADC retired, former Chief of Naval Staff, and Mrs. Kala Nair, Madam, very respected Dr. A.P. Majid Khan, Chancellor NISH, in absentia, Sri M.S. Faisal Khan, Pro-Chancellor in absentia, Sri Biju K. Matthew, IAS spokesperson, Ministry of Defense, Trivandrum, Lieutenant Commander Rahul, Deputy Station Commander, Indian Navy, Sri Babu Pradeep, PP, President of the Indian Naval Veteran Society, Trivandrum, Sri Manoj Kumar N, Vice President of the Indian Naval Veteran Society, Trivandrum, Dr. Janardhanan, Pro Vice Chancellor Admin, Dr. Shajin Narugunam, Pro Vice Chancellor Academics, Dr. P. Thirumal Vallavan, Registrar, Professor Shyam Mohan, Director Emeritus, Professor of Aerospace, Aeronautical and Satellite Technology, Dr. S. Nalinakshan Nair, Accountable Manager, HCAT, Head of the Department of Marine, John Leon, Heads of the Departments, Faculty Members, and my dear students, a very good morning to all of you. It's of immense pride and honor for all of us at NISH to welcome Admiral R. Hari Kumar and Mrs. Kala Nair, Madam. Sir, your illustrious career for over 4 decades stands as a proof of courage and visionary leadership. Some of the most distinguished flag appointments of Admiral Hari Kumar are Commandant of the Naval War College at Goa, Flag Officer commanding Western Fleet, Chief of Staff at Western Naval Command, Chief of Personnel, Controller, Personal Services, and Chief of Integrated Defense Staff. He also served in the UN mission in Somalia in the early 1990s, contributing to peacekeeping in one of the most challenging environments in the world. Admiral Hari Kumar sir's academic journey is equally inspiring. He is a true scholar, warrior with PhD on leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning towards optimizing maritime security. This rare blend of practical leadership and academic depth sets an extraordinary example for our students here. The Indian Navy, with its motto, Shemam no Varuna, may the Lord of the oceans be auspicious unto us, is a vital pillar of our nation's security. The Indian Navy has always stood as a symbol of courage and resilience, with achievements that make every Indian proud. Technology has always been at the heart of naval power, and today it defines the strength and vision of the Indian Navy. From stealth destroyers like INS Vishakhapatnam and nuclear-powered submarines such as INS Arihant that ensure strategic deterrence to air-independent propulsion systems in Scorpion-class submarines that enhance endurance beneath the seas, India has demonstrated its capacity to blend tradition with modernity. Our naval arsenal is equipped with BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, long-range surface-to-air missiles, and advanced torpedoes that provide precision and protection across the seas. On the aviation front, carrier-borne fighters, multi-role helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles extend the Navy's reach and strengthen maritime domain awareness. Cutting-edge radar, sonar, and electronic warfare systems shield our fleets, while satellite communication through GSAT-7 Rukmini, a network-centric operations connect every ship, submarine, and aircraft into one formidable force. Guided by the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, indigenous innovations such as the aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, and the energy-efficient technologies highlight the growing self-reliance. The Indian Navy stands tall in humanitarian missions, deploying amphibious ships, helicopters, and advanced medical support to aid during natural disasters and evacuations. In every dimension, compact, communication, resilience, and relief, technology empowers the Indian Navy to guard India's vast maritime frontiers, project strength in the Indian Ocean region, and collaborate with friendly nations. The path ahead promises even more with artificial intelligence, big data, autonomous platforms, and the quantum communication shaping the future of naval warfare and maritime security. During my tenure in DRDO, I had the privilege of witnessing closely how DRDO contributed to strengthening the Indian Navy. DRDO has been a backbone of the Indian Navy's progress, providing cutting-edge technologies that strengthen the maritime security. From developing sonar systems, torpedoes, radars, and electronic warfare suits to designing advanced missiles like BrahMos, DRDO has ensured that the Indian Navy remains technologically superior and self-reliant. By partnering with Indian shipyards, academia, and industry, DRDO has helped create a strong ecosystem of innovation that empowers the Indian Navy to defend our seas with confidence and supporting the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. On a personal note, the Indian Navy is close to my heart as my husband served as naval officer. I have seen firsthand the life of dedication and discipline that naval officers live with and upholding the nation's flag with pride. Families too share in it this spirit of service, and I'm glad to see how Admiral Harikumar Sir's family has supported him throughout his remarkable journey. We are fortunate to have Mrs. Kala Nair Madam with us today. My dear students, you are all fortunate to have the interaction with our Admiral here. Learn the art of discipline, the strength of teamwork, and the courage to stand firm in rough waters, and the spirit of service before self from Indian Navy. I am sure You all are going to have an enriching experience with Admiral Harikumar sir. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, madam, for your informative and motivating presidential address. We have now the chief guest address. These are the highlights, naval career highlights of Admiral retired Mr. Radhakrishnan Harikumar. These are his achievements as well. He was commissioned into the Indian Navy on January 1st, 1983. He is specialized in gunnery, commanded multiple vessels including INS Nishank, INS Kora, INS Ranveer, and the aircraft carrier INS Virat. Served in various command and staff appointments, including Fleet Operations Officer of the Western Fleet of India. He was also the Commandant of the Naval War College, Goa, and Naval Advisor to the Government of Seychelles. His flag appointments include Flag Officer, Commanding Western Fleet, and the Chief of Staff, Western Naval Command. He has been awarded the Param Vishishta Seva Medal, PVSM, Adi Vishishta Seva Medal, AVSM, and Vishishta Seva Medal by the Government of India for his distinguished service in the Indian Navy. We are honored to have such a great personality in our midst today, and I am very happy to invite the distinguished personality to deliver the chief guest address.
Honorable Dr. A.P. Majid Khan, the Chancellor, Nurul Islam Center, Shri M.S. Faisal Khan, Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Thirumal Valavan, Registrar, Dr. Tessie Thomas, Vice Chancellor, senior members of the Academic Council and the Board who are present here, faculty, veterans from the Navy, from the Army, staff members, spokesperson from the MOD, and the students who are present here. Namaste to all of you, and good morning. I'm really honored and grateful to the university leadership for inviting me to speak and interact with you. I find it very exciting and very inspiring for me to interact with the youth, with the young students. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your curiosity, the questions that you ask, your aspirations, your drive, your ideas, all this is very contagious and I would say infectious, that it sort of transmits to the speaker as well. So I never pass up such an opportunity to come and interact or speak with young students. So I will speak on about 6 topics, starting with value-based education. Next I'll move on to the maritime domain and the Indian Ocean. Third, I will speak about the Indian Navy's role. Thereafter, about service in the military. And then I will move on to what are the expectations of a professional and give you some leadership advice before conclusion. So I'll speak for about an hour, and after that I will take on questions, and if you have anything to ask or if you'd like to clarify anything, please feel free to do so. Okay, Aristotle's words, education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. So I would say the challenge of education is not to prepare a person just for success alone, but to prepare him for failure as such. That is the time when your education really comes in handy to support you and take you through difficult times. And a liberally educated person meets new ideas with curiosity and fascination, while an uneducated person meets new ideas with fear and anxiety. So that is the difference of getting a good, broad-based, value-based education. And any education, where you have, education being value-based, you will find that the students will develop the vision, attitude, behavior. You will have a positive learning environment, which will help you to develop social and relationship skills. And the important moral values of honesty, integrity, respect, responsibility, empathy, justice, altruism. Similarly, social values like respect for the environment, tolerance, equal opportunity, caring for the health. Similarly, ethics of citizenship like critical thinking, understanding what is right, what is wrong, and so on. You must understand that, when you talk of value-based education, values are actually aspirational. So while the institution will teach you the values, tell you what are the values of, be it honesty, be it integrity, all these things, you need to convert it into virtue. And that is by practice and by imbibing these values which are conveyed to you. Okay? And that is where a teacher is required, a professor is required, because it is from a guru that you will learn the good things. For learning the bad things, you don't require any instructor. You will learn it on your own. But for learning the good things, the virtuous things, the values, you need a teacher or a guru. That is why the teacher is a very important component of the education system. When I talk of the education system, I have been handling the education system of the Navy for a long time. The naval schools, about 40 schools are there. And the Naval Public School, the Naval Children's School, the Naval kindergartens and so on. So we have done a lot of research work on that as well. So when you talk of an education system, it consists of the students, the faculty, the infrastructure, and the process. Now in this, what we have realized and the world has realized is that the most important component is the teacher. And you can have classes under a tree, but if your teacher is outstanding, then you will learn, tremendously. So research has shown that after worrying about class strength, the requirements of modern teaching aids, processes, all that, finally they have come to the conclusion that it is the teacher alone who matters. They say that the student of a bad teacher learns about 6 months in a year. He learns only about 6 months worth of education, gets 6 months worth of education. While the student of a good teacher learns about 1.5 years worth of education. So you see the difference between what a student learns from a bad teacher and a good teacher is as much as almost 1 year of learning. Okay? So therefore, it is, I would say you are very fortunate to be here in an institution like this where you have excellent faculty, good teachers. So you must use that opportunity to benefit from it. I would say what John Steinbeck had to say about teaching. He says that teaching is indeed the greatest of arts because while an artist works on the canvas with paint, a teacher actually works on the human. For the teacher, the canvas is the human mind and the human spirit, which is a much more difficult thing to work upon. So therefore, I salute all the teachers present here. You know, you're doing a great job, the faculty, and it is up to the students to ensure that you take the maximum benefit of this opportunity. And I would also say that teaching is something which is continuous. Okay, learning is something which is continuous. It does not mean that you do your BTech and move out of this place and your education stops. Education is lifelong. Okay, and there was a student who was with his guru, and he spent a long time there with him. And one day he told his guru, "I think I have, teacher, I think I have learned enough, and I've completed my education." So the guru was very humble, and he told him, "Indeed, I'm very happy that you have learned so much, but my own education has just started." So the teacher was telling him that, I still have a lot to learn, while you may have, completed your education as per you. Okay, so that is about, the value-based education. Well, just to break the monotony, when I was coming here, there was a retired veteran like me who was doing hot air ballooning. So he decided to go on a hot air balloon trip to some place for some time. And in the evening he had promised somebody that he'll go to his house for dinner. So after some time he got drifted away. And he didn't know where he was, he got lost. So he maneuvered the balloon somewhere close to where he saw some people. And he shouted out, "Can you tell me where I am?" So there was a smart student like one of you there who said, "Yes, indeed, you're in latitude 8.2 degrees north, 73.3 degrees east, in a hot air balloon 200 feet above the ground." So this gentleman looked down and told him, and he asked him, in fact, "Are you a technology student?" So he was surprised. He said, "How did you know?" So he told him, "Well, what you have told me is all technically correct, but it is of no use to man or beast, because I do not know, I did not got the answer. I still do not know where I am. I'm afraid you have not been of any use to me." So the student, like one of you, was very smart. So he asked him, "Are you by chance, a senior military officer?" So this officer was very surprised. He said, "Yes, how did you know?" So he told him, "Well, you do not know where you are. You do not know where you are going. You have made a promise to somebody which you cannot keep. And you have been taken up to a very high position by a lot of hot air. And you are being kept up there by this hot air. And you are quick to put the blame on all people below you." So this basically, I just want to tell you that education is not just what you are learning. You have to compensate it, or you have to add on to it with a lot of general knowledge, general reading, etc. Okay? So now we'll talk of the maritime domain. So how many of you have seen the sea? Raise your hands. How many of you have seen the sea? Everybody? Okay. How many of you have spent at least one day on a ship or on a boat at sea? Yeah, I can see, I mean, other than the one in whites and the veterans. Okay, nobody. Well, you are not, I would say you are not that privileged or any problem like that. Let me tell you that you remember King Akbar, who ruled India. He had seen the sea only once in his lifetime. Okay? Only once in his lifetime. So you have a lot of illustrious people for company who have not seen the sea or who have seen the sea only once and so on. Okay? And he has never been to sea at all. He not even spent even one day at sea. So what I am trying to tell you is that the sea is a very important component of our system, of the world. 70% of the globe is water, the sea. And 85% of the nations have some access or the other to the sea. But we know very little about it. Most of us are not bothered about it. We only, go for recreation, stand on the beach sometimes, see the sea, play with the water and then come back. That's all we know about it. We know also that fish comes from the sea. But the sea is completely different from land. Okay? You cannot control the sea. You cannot govern the sea. You cannot regulate the sea. You can do all that to a very, very limited extent, unlike land. On land, you can have rules, you can control, you cannot allow people to move from one place to another, all that. But that is not possible at sea. So essentially what happens, the sea remains free for everybody to use. Okay? It is called freedom of the sea. And the United Nations came up with something called the UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, 1982, by which they said what all you can do at sea, what all is legally permissible and so on. Still, only about 5% of the sea, called the territorial sea, is under the control of anybody. Okay? Rest 95% is free for all to use. And the sea has got 4 attributes. Okay? First is it's a resource. What do you get from the sea? You get fish, you get gas, oil, minerals, and a lot of ingredients that are required for manufacture and so on. But even the fish in Indian waters are not, we don't really harness it adequately. Just to tell you, the per capita consumption of fish in the world is 20 kgs per head. Okay, that means a person throughout in a year, average consumption of fish in the world is 20 kgs per year. The highest is in countries like Japan and Maldives. It is about 85 kgs a year. And what do you think is in India? It's about 13.5 kgs per year. So you see, we have so much of fish, but our fish consumption is much below the global average. So we need to actually harness this. Then the sea is also a means of transportation. In fact, it is the most efficient means of transportation. So the people sitting here in whites will know. Road is to rail is to water or sea. For the same amount of energy, you can transport goods in the order 1:10:100. That means for the same amount of energy, if you can move 1 kg by road, 10 kg by rail, and you can move 100 kgs by water. So that is the type of, efficiency you get. And therefore, transportation by sea will remain the most economic, most efficient means of transporting bulk goods, large goods, etc. It is going to remain there for a long time, unless one of you discover quantum transportation or something like that, by which you can transport something very cheaply and instantaneously and in large volume. Okay? The third aspect of the sea is it's a means of communication, interaction, information, ideas used to spread through the sea and so on. Now, of course, there is air travel, but earlier water was sea were the only means of travel. And Today, all your internet cables, internet traffic runs through undersea cables. 99.9% of internet traffic goes below the sea. Okay? And fourthly, the sea is a medium for dominion. That means for conquest. We don't have to look at anybody else. India, Bharat was conquered by the Portuguese, by the British East India Company, all through the sea. Okay? And Indian Ocean, we are very fortunate to have an ocean named after us, the Indian Ocean, which is the third largest ocean. And it is, in fact, the oldest traveled ocean. Okay? That means in this area of the Indian Ocean, people used to travel, exchange, carry out trade as early as 5,000 years back. This, we had the world's first dry dock at Lothal. Artifacts from Harappan civilization have been found as far as the Levant and in Greece. How did it go? It went through the sea. So today, when a government and the country talks of India, Middle East, Europe corridor, all this existed 3,500 years back. We used to have trade between Gujarat and Greece and Europe. So it is not something new. Then we had the Mauryan Empire in 325. Chandragupta Maurya had worked on setting up a navy for the first time. And then we had various empires which had maritime understanding and strength, like the Chola Empire, Srivijaya Empire, all that. The Cholas understood the link between maritime power and prosperity. So it is called a virtuous maritime cycle, where if you have maritime strength, then you will support trade in various places. Your merchant ships will go, they will, carry out trade freely without any hindrance, and it will improve your economy. You will benefit from it. If you don't have maritime strength, then your ability to trade will also reduce. So this is very important for us, where Bharat today is the 5th largest economy. We're likely to become the 4th largest in a short time. By 2047, we are aspiring to be the 2nd or the 3rd largest economy in the world. What does that mean? That means we will be probably a $25 or $30 trillion economy. What does it imply? It implies that we will be making a lot of goods. We will be bringing in a lot of raw materials. All this has to come through the sea. So therefore, you can imagine the volume of ships, the volume of trade, the volume of cargo, all that is likely to go up so many times. Today, we are about $5 trillion economy. So if you are talking of a $30 trillion economy, that means all this trade and transportation, etc., all the requirements is likely to go up almost 6 times, 7 times. So that is the type of exponential growth that is anticipated in the next few years. But unfortunately, what has happened? We have turned our gaze, away from the sea. We, like I said, our rulers like Emperor Akbar, he had seen the sea only once, and Delhi, being away from the sea, had very little understanding. The people in Delhi had very little understanding of the advantages of sea power and so on. So we neglected it. So we were subjugated by the British. When the British came, Bharat had 27% of the world's GDP. I mean, that was the contribution of Bharat. When the British left in 1947, they had reduced us to 3%. Okay, so that is how much we were impoverished in the global, in the global prosperity. And just to tell you, a ship remains till about the middle of the 19th century, right from the Neo-Paleolithic age. A ship was the most complex and largest machine ever built by man. That is till about the middle of the 19th century. After that, of course, things changed with aircraft, more other machines coming in and so on. And earlier, a ship, you had in the 14th century, when you manned a ship, to operate a ship, you required one man for every ton of the shipping. By about 16th century, it became one man for every 4 tons of shipping. Today, we have very large, crude carriers, very large, container carriers and so on, which are of the order of 25,000, 30,000, 3 lakh, 3.5 lakh tons, and with a crew of only about 20, 25. So now the ratio is almost one person for almost 20,000 tons. So what I am trying to say is that as our dependence on the sea has increased, we are looking at, resources from the sea. We are looking at oil, gas, goods, all that coming by sea. But the number of people involving themselves in the sea, being aware of the sea, what the sea does, etc., that is becoming less and less. So this is a paradox. Now I'll talk of the Indian Navy. What is it? So therefore you understood what the sea does, what sea is capable of. So what is the role of the Indian Navy? Why do you require the Navy at all? Okay, Admiral Alfred Thayer Mahan, who wrote the history of the influence of sea power upon history, he says that the necessity of a navy in the restricted sense of the word arises with the need for peaceful shipping. That means with the need for merchant shipping and for trade, and disappears with it. That means a country which doesn't have any trade does not really require a navy. So therefore, we have a navy which is there to protect, preserve, promote and pursue our national interests in the maritime domain. And what are interests? There is a quote by Lord Palmerston which says, "We have no eternal allies, we have no perpetual enemies, but our interests are perpetual and eternal, and those interests it's a duty to follow." And that is what all nations do. So the Navy pursues our national interests. We have island territories, about 1,389 islands. We have a large coastline, about 11,099 kilometers. We have an exclusive economic zone of 2.1 square kilometers. About 4% of our GDP comes from the blue economy, that is from the sea. And therefore, we are dependent upon the sea for a lot of things. And what does the Navy do, therefore? The Navy handles all tasks right from the most complex, which is in case of a war, to protect the maritime interests, to the lowermost one. So I would say it is divided into 4 types. One is combat or war. Then Navy's got a role called in diplomacy. That means in how you project yourself with other countries. Thirdly, a constabulary role, or it's called the policing role, where you try to control smuggling, drug trafficking, illegal migration, all these things. And the fourthly is a benign one, which is to assist when there is a humanitarian disaster, where is a disaster and you want to provide disaster relief or humanitarian assistance. So these are the 4 broad roles that the Navy does when the Navy is expected to do. So you must remember that it is because the Navy is out at sea doing its job that you get your petrol, you get your diesel, you get your cooking gas, you get your things which are imported, you are able to sell things which you export. So this is because we are able to use the sea for our benefit through our merchant ships. And most of the time we don't realize as to how the Navy is contributing to keep the economy going and keep the prices down, etc. When there is a piracy attack of Somalia, what happens? When a piracy attack happens, you will find that merchant ships will start diverting away. The insurance rates of the cargo goes up. And who pays for it? It is the customer, like you and me, who are using the cargo, we are the ones who have to pay for it. So therefore, this is the job of the Navy in trying to, make sure that the prices are kept under control and we get all the goods and our economy is prosperous. Today, we have moved from the olden time when there was sea blindness, when we didn't know the advantages of sea power or we chose to ignore it, to now we have moved to maritime consciousness and maritime thought. So if you have listened to the speeches of the Prime Minister recently, a few days back, when he was speaking at Bhavnagar, he was talking of shipbuilding as a sunrise sector. Shipbuilding is he called it the mother of all industry. That means it is an industry which will create jobs not just in shipbuilding but in all the ancillary industries as well. Whether it is training, whether it is the MSMEs which provide components for it, the smaller equipment and so on. So there's a lot of money, about 63,000 crores has been, is being provided for the shipbuilding industry, and this has got a multiplier effect on the creation of jobs, which is said to be about 6.1 times. That means if about 2,000 jobs are created in a shipyard for building ships, you will find that nearly 6,000 plus jobs will be created in the MSMEs and other sectors. And what are the types of jobs that are going to get created? It will be shipbuilding technicians, electronics maintainers, IT managers, security coordinators, aircraft maintainers, hydrographers, radio operators, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, seamen, hospitality business, a whole lot of things like that. So in the civilian sector as well, opportunities in the maritime sector, like they're talking of floating and underwater cities, underwater tourism. An example was we have a ancient underwater city of Dwarka, and there are plans to have a underwater tourism being conducted there. So there is a lot of opportunity which is blooming in the coming up in the maritime sector. Okay, and I would say this is a time when we need to focus and see that we benefit from the advantages of the maritime sector. Okay, so therefore, why should you choose a military life? What is military life? A military life is basically about the ordered application of force under an unlimited liability. So this is the only profession where you serve with an unlimited liability. That means you are willing to sacrifice your life, when you serve in the military. And it requires discipline. As I said, self-sacrifice. Some of your liberties get curtailed. There are long separations. It's a little difficult life. But then, as Bertrand Russell says, performance of public duty is not just what makes a good life. There is also the pursuit of private excellence. And the military life, gives you opportunities for all that. It gives much, takes much more, enriching freely anyone who is prepared to give more than, he gets. And the military is an essential social institution which is going to stay forever. It is not, so long as there is, human beings, you will have the military as a service. And I would recommend, many of you are technical students, you are all BTech, students. I would say the Indian Navy is a great opportunity. It is a multi-dimensional force. It is in fact the only multi-dimensional force which operates on the surface of the sea, under the sea, submarines, over the sea you have ships, above you have aircraft, fighter aircraft, helicopters, patrol aircraft, all sorts of things. And technology-wise, it's at the leading edge. You find all sorts of, technology. In fact, we use, the Navy uses 5 different types of propulsion. So your mechanical engineers will know we have used steam propulsion, diesel propulsion, gas turbine propulsion, electric propulsion and nuclear propulsion. So it provides you the entire canvas of propulsion that is available in the world. Similarly is the case with electronics, software, etc. Operation of satellites, AI, and you have the option of permanent commission or short service. You can choose what you want to do, and if you are not convinced about joining the Navy, you can always join the Army or the Air Force, but let me tell you, you will become a better person, be it in terms of discipline, leadership qualities, courage, punctuality, team spirit, patriotism, management skills. Just have to interact with some of our veterans sitting here. Everybody has benefited by, being in military service. Risk-taking ability and so on. And it's a very meritocratic profession which doesn't care for your background but recognizes your abilities. It gives you great exposure, experience and challenges which bring transformational changes in you as a person. And when I was the chief, when I was serving, we had opened the service completely for women. So there is no restriction. You can join. I see a lot of women, students here. Those who are interested to, you can join and take the discipline of your choice and benefit from it. So I hope that many of you will seriously consider this and join either the Navy or any of the other two services. Now let me give you a few thoughts of a few words of advice. I talked a little bit of character. In your development as a person, there are two aspects to it. One is your character and one is as a professional. So I would first talk of character, which is the most important. You need to be gentlemen or gentlewomen. Actually, there is no term gentlewomen, but the gentleman actually is the conduct of a gentleman is what is expected of women as well. It says that the cavalier of the aristocratic guy used to distinguish himself by his lace, plume, dress, cut, all that. But the gentleman of popular caste, he shuns external distinction and shows his refinement within the limits of plain attire.
Honorable Chairman has come.
Ajay sir, namaskaram. Very sandosham. Okay. ഇല്ല കത്തിച്ചിട്ട് So my greetings to the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Dr. Majid Khan. So the values that I was talking of, honesty, integrity, compassion, benevolence, altruism, courage, open-mindedness, patience, these are all these all should form part of your character. You should work on it. And there is a saying that leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. And if you need to be without one of them, then you better be without strategy. You cannot be without character. Leadership requires character. And I would say in your strength of character, and beware of some of the pitfalls like substance abuse, drug abuse, online betting. Beware of overindulgence in the digital world. Beware of the Western influence on our food habits and our culture. You must realize that our Indian culture is centuries old, age old actually, and there is much to learn from it and benefit from it. And you need to be physically fit as well. I see many of you are addicted to the smartphone, and I would say that you must practice a ritual of disconnection from the smartphone. Okay, let me tell you this. Last about 20 years in senior positions in the Navy, I've never used a smartphone. Okay, I've never used a mobile phone. Especially when I'm in the office, somebody who wants to contact you in any case will contact you through the landline or whatever. But 99% of the time, somebody who calls you during working hours on a mobile phone is obviously just to ask you, "Aur kya ho raha hai?" What is happening? Like that. It is not for anything to do with your job. So you can look, study it for yourself and see. It is a big distraction. I would say you must limit the usage of your smartphone. I'm not saying do away with it. You cannot do away with it. But you must learn to disconnect from the digital world, because there is a real world of interaction. There is a real world of sports, fitness, a lot of things that you need to do rather than just, follow blindly on your smartphone. And talking of character, Benjamin Franklin said, there are three things which are extremely hard. That is, one is steel, one is diamond, and third thing is knowing yourself. Most of the time, we never know ourselves as to what we are, what are our strengths, weaknesses, etc. So it's extremely hard thing to do. But if you do that and you know yourself, that is your first step to success. So there are many more virtues desirous of character, but I have only touched upon a few of these. I'll now talk of the requirements of being a professional. First of all, in my opinion, there are three things that are required. I would say knowledge, hard work, and attitude. Okay? Now there is an interesting thing about these three words. If you put a value 1 to the letter A and increase it till the last one, till Z, 26, and you add up the letters of these three words, then you will find that knowledge adds up to 96, hard work adds up to 98, and attitude adds up to 100. It may be just a quirk, but while you can have the knowledge and you work hard, if you don't have the right attitude, it will not get you anywhere. Okay. So, while you're trying to be a professional, you also need to aim to be world class in whatever you do. You must aim to be the best in the world. Malcolm Gladwell, the author, he wrote a book called Outliers, in which he says that to be world class in anything, whether it is, your job or your, ability to play an instrument or anything like that, or music or whatever, to reach world class standard, you need to put in 10,000 hours. Okay, that's almost 10 years of effort, right? And there is a neurologist called Daniel Levitin. He says that no example of world class expertise being achieved in lesser time exists. That means he says that it takes 10,000 hours of effort for you to achieve, to know everything that is there on that subject to reach world-class standard. So therefore, it's something you must keep in mind if you are looking at becoming a world-class professional. Okay? To talk of attitude, where I said it adds up to 100, I think that's the most important one. There is an anecdote called Letter to Garcia. This was written by a person called Elbert Hubbard in 1899. So, as usual, US was in a war. Even now, it is in a war with various countries. So, they were at war with Spain, and Spain was holding Cuba that time. So, the President of the United States, President McKinley, he wanted to send a letter to a rebel leader called Garcia to enlist his help. But this was 1899, so there was no telegraph, there was no telephone, there was no mobile phone, all that. So how does he send this letter? So you ask, looking around. So someone told him, okay, there is one Lieutenant Andrew Summers Rowan. You call him, he will get the job done. So this officer was in the US Navy, he was called. He came, met the President. The President gave him the letter, he took it, saluted the President and walked off. He then took a boat, crossed over by sea to Cuba, walked through the forest, searched for this guy, located the chap and gave him the letter. And then he came back and reported completion of the task given to him. So, what is it that you see in this? The point is, here is a person who did not ask, where is Garcia? Where will I find him? How will I go? What will you pay me? Will it be safe for me? He didn't ask any such question. Okay? He just got the job done. The world is always in search of people like that. And that is what you should be. You should be able to take on whatever work is given to you without supervision, do your job quietly. And such a person, if you have such a quality, let me tell you that you will never be out of work. You will always be wanted. Every profession, every industry, every company, every government is looking for people like that. So you need to have a very positive attitude. Then we come to hard work, which is 98. It is self-explanatory. You need to work hard. There is no substitute for that. Theodore Roosevelt says that never throughout history has a man who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. Okay? And when you don't have to look anywhere else for an example. Just look at our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister. He works almost 20 hours a day. Okay? He hardly takes any rest. So I'm sure you can follow his example. If not 20 hours, you can easily do work for 18 hours. So an interesting fact is that somebody has recorded that nobody has died of hard work. So I don't think you should be afraid of dying because of hard work. You must ensure that you work hard and it will stand to good benefit for you. The third thing is knowledge. Knowledge, I said, when you add up the letters, it adds up to 96. Knowledge is power, and you must be in constant search to improve your knowledge. There are three kinds of resources: raw materials, energy, and knowledge. Raw materials will finish sometime, like oil, gas, all that. Energy, same way. But knowledge is one resource which multiplies by sharing, by using. The more you use knowledge, the more you gain. And if you have more knowledge, you can find raw materials, you can find energy. Okay? So it is the most important resource. And knowledge is something you should aim to gain. And it requires considerable knowledge to realize what is your extent of ignorance in some subjects. So I would say that the ignorant and the idle only are weak. But those who have acquired a good stock of knowledge by reading always desire to increase it. You know, knowledge is like power in that sense, that those who have the most are most desirous of having more of it. In a university like this, in the Western world, you are expected to read 200 pages a day. Okay, 200 pages is almost a book. That is the expectation in a university in the Western world. I don't know what is the norm here, but I am sure it must be somewhere in that region. You have heard of, anybody has heard of Warren Buffett? Anybody has heard of Warren Buffett? Who is Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett, the world's most famous and successful investor. Okay? He reads 1,000 pages every day. So, what I'm trying to say is that if you need to be successful, you need to read, and you need to read a lot, right? And I will give you a list of few books which, if you want, you should read, if you want to take it. The first book I would say, there is a book called How to Read a Book. Have you heard of it? How to Read a Book. It is freely available in the internet, written by Mortimer J. Adler. I myself saw it only at the age of 50, but I'm telling you, you should start reading that book first. It will help you read books much faster. It is freely available in the internet, and maybe it's there in the library as well. Then there is another book called Self-Help by a person called Samuel Smiles. This was in the bestseller in Japan for a long time. It's freely available in the internet. It's got lots of anecdotes, small stories. It's dated. It's about 100 years old. But the underlying principles are very much relevant even today. Then there is Character of a Gentleman by Francis Lieber. I would recommend Lord Chesterfield's Letters to his Son, where he talks of all practical, means for succeeding in various tasks. A great book is, small but great book is Man in Search of Meaning, written by Viktor Frankl. Then there is The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. The Emperor's Handbook by Marcus Aurelius. The Black Swan by Nicholas Nassim Taleb. The Daily Stoic by Seneca. Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So there is a whole lot of books that are there. I'll now move on to the last part of my talk, where I'll talk of leadership advice. The word lead originally meant general of soldiers. That means it is a military term, because in the military you always keep leading people. So originally when this word came about, it was meant to be the general of soldiers. It is said that a leader is best when people barely know he exists, not so good when people obey and acclaim him, and worst when they despise him. And there is a vast difference between management and leadership. We always study management. We do not really understand or practice leadership. Management is about coping with complexity, while leadership is about coping with change. Management involves planning and budgeting, and leadership involves setting direction. Management is about organization, staffing, and finding solutions. Leadership is about aligning people. Management provides, control. It solves problems, while leadership is the one which provides motivation. It's good to be a manager. In various jobs we are managers, but it is even better if you are a leader. And management is very good at handling tangible things. They produce extraordinary results. But we can never manage people into the commitment that is necessary to accept the risks of war, or similar difficult social enterprises. That is where you require leadership. We can only lead them in such life-changing social activities. So I will talk of 9 principles of leadership. It's there for you to take it, see what suits you, imbibe it, and understand it and imbibe it and use it to improve yourself. First principle, I would say, is the principle of integrity. That is, doing the right thing. What is integrity? It is being honest to yourself. Honesty is being, truthful to others. Integrity is being truthful to yourself. That means nobody is watching, but you will still not do a wrong thing. And there is a great anecdote of honesty. In the Vanderbilt University, there was one Vice Chancellor called Dr. Madison Sarrett. He told his students, "Today I am giving you 2 examinations, one in trigonometry, one in honesty. I hope you will pass in both. If you must fail in one, then fail in trigonometry. For there are many good people in the world who cannot pass a test of trigonometry. But there are no good people in this world who cannot pass a test of honesty." So the thing is, you need to, be a person of honesty and integrity. And in this, many times we get swayed by social proof. That is, peer pressure. Everybody is doing something wrong, and therefore we are also doing it. So you have to, 1 crore of people or 100 crore people doing something wrong does not make it right. You should have the moral courage and follow your conscience and do what is right. It is so powerful. Let me give a small anecdote of this. There was a oil prospector who, after he died, he went to heaven. He went to the pearly gates. So St. Peter was there at the gate. And St. Peter said, "I'm sorry, you are entitled to a place in heaven, but it is full. There is no place here." So this prospector said, he thought for a minute, then he said, "Can I speak 4 words?" So St. Peter thought about it. He said, okay, he thought there's no harm. So he shouted loudly, "Oil discovered in hell." So he shouted these 4 words. Immediately the door opened and all the people who were inside, they were all oil prospectors. They all marched out, they started going to hell. So St. Peter was very impressed. So he told them, "Well, there is enough room there now. You can go and make yourself comfortable." So this person said, "Wait a minute. Maybe there is some truth after all. All the boys are going there, so let me also go." So this shows the strength of peer pressure, something which he had started himself, but with so many people following it, he thinks that is the truth, and then he also wants to go along. So we must understand this pressure of social proof and resist from it. The next is the principle of action. We must take action that is expected of us. If not, you will miss out on the opportunity. So again, I'll tell you a story. A queen and her advisor, they were standing like this, and she was having some, rice flakes and with honey. So as she was eating, a drop of honey fell down. So the advisor said, "Can I call the servant and have it cleaned?" She said, "No, don't bother. It's not our responsibility." So it fell on the edge of the balcony, and the honey, a few drops of it further fell down onto the road below. Soon flies started coming and sitting on the honey. A lizard came out to catch the flies. A cat came out to catch the lizard. a dog came out to catch the cat. So a lot of commotion was happening. And the owner of the cat came and hit the dog. So the advisor told the queen, can I call somebody to solve this problem below? She said, no, don't bother. This is all, some commotion, they will finish. Now the dog's owner came and hit the man who hit the dog. Soon all the shopkeepers there joined either side. They started fighting. And the soldiers came in, the police came in. They also knew the people on both sides, and they also joined on either side. Soon there was a big fight, stone throwing, shops were looted, shops were set on fire, and the entire town caught fire, and the palace also burned down. So the moral of the story is that there was an action that was required to be taken at the appropriate time, which the queen did not do, and that finally became bigger and bigger and bigger till it became uncontrollable, and it did not benefit anybody. Okay? So when you are required to, principle of action, take action when you are required to do. Then there is the principle of selflessness, serving the greater good. And I would say that we must keep the society at large in view and see how we can contribute. In this, we must set example. As a leader, if you want to be a leader, if you tell somebody to do something and if you yourself are not following it, nobody will follow you. Okay? So in influencing others, example is not the main thing. It is the only thing. Unless you set an example, people will not follow you. Then the principle of candor, that is speaking your mind. So don't worry so much about whether you know a language, whether you're fluent in a language, whether you're able to speak or not. Okay, there is a Harvard study which says that in any conversation, it is only words that you say contributes only 7%. Okay, the tone of voice and the tenor of the voice, that contributes 38%. And the body language is the most important component. It's about 55%. So a leader should be able to communicate very candidly, speak his mind and communicate it correctly. I'll give you an example of poor communication. This is a military unit. The colonel who was in charge of the unit, he told this second in command, tomorrow evening at about 2000 hours, that is 8 o'clock in the evening, Halley's Comet will be visible in this area, which is an event which occurs once in 75 years only. You have the men followed there in the battalion area in their fatigues, and I'll explain this rare phenomena to them. In case of rain, we will not be able to see anything. So assemble the men in the auditorium and I'll show them a film about this event. So this is what the colonel told. Now the second in command conveyed it to the company commander. He said, by order of the CO, tomorrow at 2000 hours, Halley's Comet will appear over the battalion area. If it rains, fall the men out in fatigues, then march them to the theatre where this rare phenomena will take place, something which occurs only once in 75 years. So now the company commander had to pass on this message to the lieutenant, this assistant. So he told, tomorrow at 2000 hours, the colonel will appear in the theatre with Halley's Comet, something which happens every 75 years. If it rains, the colonel will order the comet into the battalion area. Now comes the turn of the JCO, who was telling the men. He told the men, when it rains tomorrow at 2000 hours, the phenomenal 75-year-old General Halley, accompanied by the colonel, will drive his comet through the battalion area theatre in fatigues. So you see what was intended and what was communicated, how communication gets distorted. So you should be able to communicate correctly. the principle of preparation, that is preparing and laying the groundwork. You have to invest in your capabilities, in your skill and so on. Don't try to predict the future. It can get you wrong very often. I'll give you some examples. In 1941, the CEO of IBM was Thomas Watson. He said, I think there is a world market for about 5 computers. So you know how wrong he was today. In 1977, Ken Olsen, who was the founder of Digital Electronic Corporation, he said, there is no reason why anyone would want a computer in their home. We all now have PCs, laptops, everything. Later, in 1981, Bill Gates, who's still around, he declared 640K ought to be enough for everybody. So you see how far off the mark they are when they are trying to predict the future. So you need to look at adding skills, capabilities, etc. Don't look at forecasting. And what lies inside your circle of competence, you will understand intuitively. What lies outside it, you will only partially comprehend. You should know where your circle of competence lies. You should know where the perimeter is. It is not really important whether your circle is big or small. Okay? And for this, you must adopt mentors. And the best way of adopting mentors, I see many of them here on the paintings here. All of them are my mentors. How do you select such mentors and how do you interact with them? Through books, through reading. This is the cheapest way of getting yourself a mentor. Swami Vivekananda is there, Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, Dr. Kalam, Mother Teresa. You can't find, there are n number of mentors you can find. And books are the source for it today. Books, videos, there are so many ways of getting in touch with them or learning from them. And the list is endless. Benjamin Franklin, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. The sky is the limit. You just have to choose your mentor that you want. The principle of teaching and learning or sharing knowledge, you should adopt various learning techniques, think broadly and differently and seriously, more creatively and more critically, so that you have a greater understanding of the framework of strategic issues. When you take a sheet of paper like this and you fold it, okay, and you can keep on folding it. When you fold it to 50 times, what do you think will be the thickness? Anyone? If you fold the paper 50 times, fold it like this. A book. Yeah, you're right. It is, when we think linearly. That means when you fold it, we think, okay, we keep adding like this. But it is, your technology students, you must be aware of it. It is 2 to the power of n equal to 50, which is the distance from the earth to the sun. Okay? That is how much this piece of paper will become if you fold it 50 times. We can't imagine. Why can't we imagine? Because from Stone Age onwards, as human beings, we are conditioned to linear thinking. Okay, we are only worried about incremental additions. We are not used to thinking exponentially. So but today, you are in an age where you have to think exponentially. Technology is changing. Technology capability is improving exponentially. And the cost of things are coming down exponentially. Things are becoming cheaper with much greater capability. So that is why you need to think differently. The 7th principle is that of fairness, of choosing and rewarding the right people. I would always say that respect remains the highest currency of mankind. And the 8th principle is the principle of vision. You need to focus on the big picture. You must nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never rise any higher than what you think. Many times we try to become, we are cynical. And what is a cynic? A cynic is a person who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. Okay? This cynic's school or the cynical thinking was attributed to a person called Diogenes the Greek. Now this person, he wanted nothing in life. He used to live in a barrel. He had no home, he had no belongings, nothing. He used to live in a barrel. That is all. So he had no aspirations, nothing he wanted. So one day there was a meeting between him and Alexander the Great. Alexander went down to meet this gentleman. He was a philosopher, whatever. So he went and asked him, sir, is there anything I can do for you? The great King Alexander going and meet, he's lying in a barrel inside. So he tells him, yes, indeed, there is something you can do for me. Please step aside. You're blocking my sunlight. So, look at the difference in the thinking between the man of cynical school of philosophy and the military leader. So if you are a leader, you cannot afford to be a cynic. You have to think big. You have to have a great vision for for what you want to achieve. And the last principle I would say is the principle of caring and supporting your teams or your troops or your people. It is said that leadership is solving problems. That means when people come to you, if you are a leader, people will come to you expecting that you will solve their problem. But they will stop coming to you if they realize that you are not interested in them or you are unable to solve their problems. That is a clear failure of leadership. So leaders are like surfers, the ones who do the surfing, waiting for a big wave. They should prepare themselves with the intellectual ability, intuition, and the skills to take advantage of the windows of opportunity whenever they open, and and set example and lead the occasion. So I'll now conclude, and I would request you to make up your mind as to what you want to become and then pursue it. If you take up something that you like, then you don't have to work at all. That means you're very happy about doing something. You're not really doing any work. You need to work hard, play hard, develop social skills, pursue fine arts, hobbies, and achieve all-round development, not just technical development alone. You must seek excellence, as I said, the 10,000 hour rule in whatever you do. And good character is achieved only through habitual effort. So you are living in this Amrit Kal. You are the Amrit Pidi of Bharat. Okay? Bharat is a proud, strong and credible country today. It's in ascendancy, be it our culture, be it our society, be it the economy, industry, military, and you are the Amrit Pidi. You have to take Bharat higher. When you talk of 2047, where we become a fully developed nation, the second or third largest economy, you all will be in positions of authority. You will be in positions, in deciding various things. So, make sure you prepare yourself, you seize the occasion and bring in the changes that you want. I'll close with a quote by George Bernard Shaw, where he said, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, while the unreasonable man persists in adapting the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends upon the unreasonable man." So you should try to be unreasonable men and women to bring in the change in this world. Otherwise, we'll keep remaining in the same place where we are. Okay? So, with this, I end my talk I'm willing to take on any questions or anything you'd like to ask me. Please feel free. Yeah, yes, please.
Actually, we have an interaction section.
Yeah. So, you stand here only? Or?
No. After the Kuttu lighting the
Okay,
Kuttu,
okay,
we
okay,
have
okay.
interaction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring and enlightening address. Thank you as well, sir, for the recommendation of books from Marcus Aurelius, Thomas Paine, and others. Your eloquent words articulated here today will remain a guiding light to all of us, especially to the students of Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education. Thank you, sir. Dr. A.P. Majid Khan, our beloved Chancellor, is a great educationist who single-handedly created this university out of sheer will, clear vision, and relentless hard work. We are delighted to welcome our beloved Chancellor on this occasion. Better late than never. May I now invite our Honorable Chancellor to light the Kuttuvilakku, marking this auspicious occasion. Thank you very much, sir, and other dignitaries for the fine gesture of lighting the Kuttuvilakku and marking the occasion. We have now the honoring of the chief guest. May I now invite our Honorable Chancellor to honor the chief guest, Admiral R. Kumar, PVSM, AVSM, VSM and ADC, retired, former Chief of Naval Staff, Indian Navy. Thank you, Admiral sir, for your benign presence and your address here today. Next, our Chancellor honors Mr. Biju K. Matthew, IAS spokesperson, Ministry of Defense, Thiruvananthapuram. I invite Mr. Biju K. Matthew to receive the honor from our Chancellor. Next, I invite Mr. Manoj Kumar N., Vice President of Indian Naval Veterans Society, Thiruvananthapuram. Please come on to the stage, sir. Next, I invite Mr. Babu Pradeep PP, President of the Indian Naval Veterans Society, Thiruvananthapuram. Please come on to the stage, sir. Welcome, sir. Now, a special honor to Mrs. Kala Nair, wife of Admiral Radhakrishnan Harikumar, sir. We invite you, madam, to receive the honor.
Thank you, dignitaries. Next, we are heading to the interaction with the students. We shall now move on to the interaction session with the students of NISH. Students, this is indeed a rare opportunity to interact directly with such a distinguished leader. So I hope the students are ready for the interaction, and I request Admiral sir to interact with the students. Students can ask the questions now. Those who are asking the questions, please come forward. Those who are asking the questions, please come forward.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
I am a BCom graduate and sir, and I'm doing a MBA, and I am a district level wrestler and a NCC also, and a NSS leader also. Can you guide me the Navy? And join.
You're not a technical graduate, right?
Yes.
So, unfortunately, there is a problem in the Navy. For the last about 15-20 years, we have shifted over to only technical graduates because it's a technically oriented service. So, which I don't think is right, but that is denied the opportunity for many arts graduates. Now there's a rethink, but immediately it is not there. So what I would suggest, you can look at maybe the army. Air Force also got thing, and in the Navy we have the education branch. But in the education branch, the opportunities are very, very less, because there again most of the education officers are involved in teaching technical subjects.
Oh.
So that is one problem. But you have opportunities in the army.
Oh. So I had also NSS certificate also I have, A certificate, and district level wrestler. Those certificate is valuer.
There is a sports.
Yes, sports.
Yeah, there is a sports entry. But I think you have to be at the national level.
National level.
If you are at the national level, or somewhere you are playing for national or represent the state, then you can join as a sports entry. That option is also there.
Okay.
You can explore
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, sir. I always dreamed of being a great leader in my life. So, how do I achieve it? Like, not like a normal leader, great leader, like in the photos here.
I didn't get your first part.
Like, great leaders. I want to be a great leader. I always dreamt of it. So, how can I be, sir?
See, leaders, there is a great debate in the academic world whether leaders are born or leaders are made. Okay? So there is no answer. Some people have been proving that leaders are born. Some people are proving leaders are, are created, are trained, and made. And there are various traits of leadership. Leadership theories are there. About 8 or 9 or more than 9 theories are there. But each theory has got its own, failures, I would say. It doesn't, it's not foolproof. There are limitations of each. So, in the studies that I've seen, to make a good leader, it takes about anything between 15 to 20 years. Okay? It's not something, you can't become a leader by just doing a course. You have to continuously learn, experience, improve, and grow as a leader. That's how leaders are grown. That's why it is, I think, John P. Cotter, one of the leadership gurus, who said that it takes about 15 to 20 years to make a good leader. So I think you should start with reading. Have you read How to Read a Book? No. First read that book, then you read books, adopt mentors, whatever field you like, whether it is Dr. Abdul Kalam or Socrates, or, you read a book, you are basically seeing that author of that book as your mentor. You can have conversations with him, you will find answers in the books to things that you're looking for. And as you learn, you have to practice it. You have to be a person of good character, and that is how you'll become a good leader. So you have to grow. You can't become a leader overnight or just by doing one course. Okay, it takes time. It requires hard work. It requires a lot of effort. It requires you to be well read, widely read, and have a good grasp of world events and so on.
Sir, what are the challenges I will face? Use mic. It's not. What are the challenges I will face, sir, while becoming a great leader?
Challenges, are how will you manage your time? How do you, managing time is very critical. If you cannot manage time, you cannot manage anything else. So your ability, because time is a resource which is in equal measure for all of us, unlike money. Everybody's got the same amount of time. How do you utilize your time most efficiently to benefit from it? So that is the biggest challenge that you'll face. And because you will have conflicting requirements, you will have, your work, you will have other general reading, whatever things you're pursuing, your family requirements, lots of, challenges. How do you optimize your time most efficiently to focus on what is your goal? You want to become a great leader. Now, a great leader, you should have a vision as to what do you want to achieve. You can't be just a leader just like that. You have to be a leader. Okay, you want to be a leader in the education field. You want to be a political leader. You want to be a leader in the military. You want to be a leader. You must have some sort of a conceptual framework as to where do you want to be. Or you want to be a student leader. What is it that you want to be? So you must, and for that, unless you read widely, you read various subjects, and then you have then you are become aware of all the possibilities that are there. Then you can think as to what is it that you want to choose. What is it? As I said, knowing yourself is the most difficult thing. So try to know yourself. What are your capabilities? What is it that you can achieve? What is it? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What should you work on? So if you do some self-study, self-introspection, and then you read widely, you will get answers. There are when you look at history, it's all about human beings. And while technology has changed, machines have changed, equipments have changed, weapons have changed, what has not changed? The human being. The man who is operating is not changed. He's the same person. 100 years back, 200 years back, 500 years back, maybe he's got some more skills or some better. But by nature, he's the same. His same fears, his worries, his aspirations, his greed, jealousy. These are all his nature is still there. That has not changed. So you have to study human nature. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Harish from Marine Department. Sir, while speaking, you have told that there is an opportunity to join in Indian Navy for B.Tech students. So, I am a Marine student. So, there is an opportunity for our career opportunity for marine engineers in Indian Navy. What are the opportunities, sir?
Opportunity is you can join. Firstly, there is short service and permanent commission. Permanent commission means minimum 20 years you have to serve. Short service is 7 years or 10 years or 14 years. So, depending upon your how long you want to serve, you can choose this. And in marine engineering, as I said, there are various options. You can become a nuclear engineer. You can become a engineer looking after gas turbines. You can look after diesel engines, steamships, electric engines, entire option. So there is a campus interview normally, or you can apply for it online. Every 6 months there is a intake. So just when you are short of completing your B.Tech, you can apply for it. And there's a university entry scheme also. Some details of this, I think the Navy is sending somebody to disseminate to the college after this. But it is online, everything is online now. And if you just go to the website, you will get all the details. But essentially, you can opt for permanent commission, you can opt for short service commission. And if you don't want to join as an officer, or if you're unable to join as an officer, you still want to join, you can join as an Agnipath. That's the age limit is 21, I think. And you can serve for 4 years, gain the experience. There'll be a remarkable improvement to your personality, and come out and join. There are reservations, 10% reservation in all government jobs, 10% reservation in all Central Armed Police Forces, and so on. And various other civilian departments also. So that is another opportunity which is there.
Thanks, sir.
Jane sir, my name is Ashwati and I'm studying in BE Computer Science and Engineering. So I would like to know about how Indian Navy is adapting the new technologies like AI, automation and green fuels in its ships.
We prepared a roadmap for implementing AI, which was approved by the Ministry of Defense in 2021. Basically, it gives guidance both to the Navy as well as the industry to see how, what is it, where we are going and how they can support us, etc. So, AI is machine learning is being incorporated in various aspects. The easiest to incorporate is in administrative things. AI is meant for dull, dirty, dangerous, and dear jobs. So those we are looking at how to implement AI in that. But the more difficult aspect is to incorporate it into your war fighting. But now already we are getting different types of ammunition, different types of UAVs, unmanned surface craft, unmanned underwater craft, loiter ammunition. Lots of things are being done. Much work is happening, and we need AI specialists basically to join us and help take the Navy forward. Yeah.
So good afternoon, sir. I am Jahi. So as a MBA student, what type of job opportunity can we have in the Navy as a marine MBA student?
For marine engineers or any BTech, you can be anything, including maybe 40 years later you can become Chief of Naval Staff also. Okay? Everything is open. So earlier, before till about 2023, Navy was inducting women officers only in specific disciplines like in logistics, in education, some limited air observers, like that. But now that has been removed. Now you can become a marine commando, you can join submarines, you can become a submariner, you can become anything, whatever you want. But you have to have the aptitude, you have to pass the exam, you have to pass the selection test, and you join. And there is no differential treatment. Okay? The slogan that we have put for the Navy is all roles, all ranks. They're all open. So you can.
Sir, one more question. Does we have any kind of internship to get any?
Internships, see, we have internships for our BTech. Basically, we have technical officers who are in the dockyard, which repairs ships, refits ships and all that. So we have started internship programs there. That means if the university ties up with the service, with that dockyard, then students who are keen on doing internship there can go. We have state-of-the-art workshops, which are repairing things live or sorting out problems and carrying out refits, etc. So there you can go and spend maybe 6 months, 1 year, whatever, do a thing. And right now we are not paying them for internship, but we give certification for that. So you can approach through the university, it will be better.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. I am Anis Samraj from Aerospace Department. Sir, can you explain the Blue Navy water and Green Water Navy?
Yeah, see, basically Blue Water Navy means operating far away from the coast. It's a term which has evolved because closer to the coast, the color of the sea is, when you look from the sky, from above, it is greenish. Very close, of course, it is muddy, but as you go a little bit more, you will find it is green. And further out, right in the, far in the ocean, it is blue. So that is why it's called blue economy. And blue navy, blue water navy we call it. Blue water means that a navy which operates far, far away from the shore. So what does it imply? It implies more resources, bigger ships, because a smaller ship can only go to that much distance and come back. While if it's a bigger ship, then it can go farther, it can stay there farther, because the more you travel, the more time it takes you to come back also. And therefore, once you go somewhere, you need to operate there, do your job, and then come back. So that is why you require bigger ships and bigger capability when you are a blue water navy. So today we are a blue water navy, the Indian Navy, and we are one of the almost 5th largest navy. We are the largest resident naval power in the Indian Ocean. Okay.
Sir, another question is, what is shallow water operation?
Shallow water operations are operations which are close to the coast. So where the depth of the water is not much. It can be maybe 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters, etc. So, or even 30 meters. So those are depths where very shallow waters, you may have mines, enemy may put mines, or you may have, submarines operating very close to the coast. So you have a different type of tactics to operate in those waters. While when you go to deeper waters, there is more room for maneuver, and in shallow water you are restricted because the depth is less, so your ships, you can only operate smaller ships, all those complications are there. So these, your operations in shallow water and deep water are slightly different.
Jain sir, my name is Abhinav. I am doing marine engineering. So my question is, can you share one of your operational technical difficulty that you have faced, which you can share if it is not classified?
Difficulties are faced every day. Okay, difficulties are not just one day. Difficulties you keep facing every day, because when you are at sea, your biggest challenge is the sea itself. Because you have to be very, very careful. It's an unforgiving environment. So if you are careless, somebody may fall overboard, you lose a life, or because of the sea state, something can happen to people on board. So it's a big challenge, and many times you have failures. You have equipment failure, you land up with some difficulties at sea. So then you have to react and respond to it. I think one of the biggest challenges I faced when I was in Mumbai as the Commander-in-Chief was during Cyclone Taukte. Cyclone which happened in 2001 of Mumbai. And it was very severe, and suddenly we got information that there are, some oil rigs are collapsing, and there are more than 300 people stranded who may die. So normally what happens in a storm, in a very severe cyclone, you don't sail the ship, because ships can get sunk in a severe cyclone. But that was the decision I had to take, to sail the ship. The ship went into the storm, went there to rescue the people. But that shows the strength of our ships built in India. There were ships built in Masagondock. The ship survived the storm and picked up out of 290 or odd people who were missing. We picked up, we rescued more than 265 or 270. Very few people were lost. So that is a very big challenge, but it worked out well. Okay, thank you. I really enjoyed interacting with you.
So officially we are winding up the interaction session here. But if you have any more questions, you can write it down and give it to the dignitaries. Okay, later we will answer the question. Next we are having the felicitation session. May I now invite Professor Shyam Mohan, Director Emeritus Visiting Professor in the Faculty of Aeronautical and Space Technology, to felicitate our chief guest.
Okay, thank you. I know the meaning of that claps. So managing time is the most difficult thing, not only for admirals, but also for a person who is coming to the audience at the time of 1 hour, 1:30 p.m. when the speaker, ഞാൻ തന്നെ വിശന്നിട്ടിരിക്കാൻ വയ്യ. So I can understand the condition of you. So that's the biggest challenge. Okay, we are all hungry. So I will take only 1 minute because I have to execute the order given by our Chief Admiral or our Chief Officer in Command, our beloved Chancellor. He has given me one task. So that is why I came before you. അത് മാത്രമേ എടുക്കുള്ളൂ. ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് ഞാൻ അലാം സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതിൽ കൂടുതലാവില്ല. മോസ്റ്റ് റെസ്പെക്റ്റഡ് ആൻഡ് അവർ ബിലവഡ് ചെയർമാൻ, ഫൗണ്ടർ ചെയർമാൻ ആൻഡ് ചാൻസലർ ഓഫ് നൂറുൽ ഇസ്ലാം ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് ഹയർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ആൻഡ് അവർ ലൈറ്റ്, ലീഡിങ് ലൈറ്റ്. നമ്മൾ ഈ വിളക്ക് വരാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് കാത്തിരുന്നത്. ഈ വിളക്ക് കത്തിക്കാനായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ വിളക്ക് ഇല്ലാതെ നമുക്ക് കത്തിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഹീ ഈസ് ഗിവിങ് ലൈറ്റ് ടു ഓൾ ഓഫ് us. Give him a very big hand. So ആ വിളക്ക് വന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കത്തിച്ചു. അതാണ് ഗുരുത്വം എന്നുള്ള ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ലക്ഷണം. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ വെരി ഡിഗ്നിഫൈഡ് ആൻഡ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് പേഴ്സണാലിറ്റി ഹൂ ഈസ് അവർ ചീഫ് ഗസ്റ്റ്, Admiral Sab and his family and all other distinguished members. Very good afternoon to all of you. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ. I want to mention the efforts taken by Dr. S. Nalinakshan Nair. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം വളരെ എഫേർട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് ഈ അഡ്മിറൽ സാഹിബിനെ കൊണ്ടുവരാനായിട്ട് പലപ്പോഴും എൻ്റെ ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ കൊണ്ടുവരണമെന്ന്. പക്ഷേ ഞാനൊരു സ്പെഷ്യൽ ഡേക്ക് വേണ്ടി കാത്തിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ അവസാനം എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി, ഫോർ സർട്ടൺ പീപ്പിൾ എ സ്പെഷ്യൽ ഡേ ഈസ് നോട്ട് റിക്വയർഡ്, ബിക്കോസ് അവർ വരുന്ന ദിവസം വിൽ ബിക്കം എ സ്പെഷ്യൽ. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഒക്കേഷനായി. ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ദിവസമായി, ഹരികുമാർ സാഹിബിൻ്റെ ദിവസമായിട്ട് മാറി. ഇന്നൊരു സ്പെഷ്യൽ ഡേ ആയിട്ട്. പിന്നെ വേറൊരു കാര്യം, ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ നമ്മുടെ വിളക്ക്, നമ്മുടെ ചീഫ് ഓഫ് ആർമി സ്റ്റാഫ്, നമ്മുടെ ചീഫ് കമാൻഡൻറ്റ് മജീദ് അങ്കിളിൻ്റെയും അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെയും നാട് നെയ്യാറ്റിൻകരയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ നെയ്യാറ്റിൻകരയിൽ നിന്ന് 2 വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങൾ, എൻ്റെയും നാട് നെയ്യാറ്റിൻകരയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ നെയ്യാറ്റിൻകരയിലെ കുറേ ആളുകൾ ഇവിടെ വന്ന്, അതും ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റി. കാര്യങ്ങൾ തീർന്നു. ഇനി അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യത്തിലോട്ട് കിടക്കാം. നമ്മൾ 45 വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുൻപ് ഞാൻ എൻജിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജ് ചേരുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് നേവി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഷിപ്പ് ആൻഡ് സബ്മറൈൻ അത്രമാത്രം അറിയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നുള്ളൂ. പിന്നെ ISROയിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ 38-40 വർഷം ശേഷം പിന്നെ പല ഇതിലും കൂടെ കടന്നു പോകുമ്പോഴാണ് നേവിയിലെ എയറിൻ്റെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ്, അതായത് എയർബോൺ വെഹിക്കിൾസിൻ്റെയും അങ്ങനെയുള്ള വാർഫെയറിൻ്റെയും സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഓഫ് ആർട്ട് വാർഫെയറിൻ്റെ എല്ലാം ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നതും പുതിയ ടെക്നോളജീസ് നേവിയിൽ ഇംപ്ലിമെൻ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൻ്റെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലായതും ഒക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ നേവിയിൽ ഒരുപാട് സ്കോപ്പ് ഇനിയും വളരാനായിട്ട് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് നമുക്കെല്ലാം ആലോചിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് എൻജിനീയറിംഗ് പഠിക്കുന്ന നിങ്ങളെ ട്രിഗർ ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ ഒരു വിസിറ്റ് കൊണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹവും ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, നൂറുൽ ഇസ്ലാം ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് ഹയർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ ട്രിഗേർഡ് ആയി എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. ഇത് പറയാൻ കാരണം നമ്മുടെ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ചാൻസലറിൻ്റെ ഒരു വളരെ കാലത്തെ മോഹമാണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വിഷനാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഒരു സീ പ്ലെയിൻ പ്രോജക്റ്റ്, സീയിൽ നിന്ന്, കടലിൽ നിന്ന് ഉയർന്നു പൊങ്ങി കടലിൽ തന്നെ ലാൻഡ് ചെയ്യും, അത് പിന്നെ ഹൈബ്രിഡ് വേർഷനാക്കി മാറ്റി അങ്ങനെ ഒരു സീ പ്ലെയിൻ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് നിഷ് ഉടനെ തുടങ്ങുന്നതാണ്. അതിന് ഈ നേവിയുടെയും നേവൽ ഓഫീസേഴ്സിൻ്റെയും എല്ലാ സാന്നിധ്യത്തിൽ ആ കാര്യം പറയാനും കൂടെ അദ്ദേഹം നിർദ്ദേശിച്ചു. അതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രം നിങ്ങളുടെയും ലഞ്ചിൻ്റെയും ഇടയിൽ ഞാൻ കയറി വന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ആ സീ പ്ലെയിൻ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ തന്നെ ഒരു മാതൃകയായിട്ട് മാറി. നമ്മളെ ലോകത്തിന് തന്നെ ഒരു മാതൃകയായിട്ട് മാറ്റി. സീ വഴിയുള്ള ട്രാൻസ്പോർട്ടേഷൻ ആണെങ്കിലും ടൂറിസം ആണെങ്കിലും എല്ലാത്തിനും നമ്മൾ നിഷ് ഒരു ലീഡർഷിപ്പ് കൊടുക്കാൻ പോവുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ പോലൊരു വിഷണറി ലീഡർ ISRO ചെയർമാനായിട്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ ഇതിനു മുന്നേ ചന്ദ്രനിൽ നമ്മൾ വീടും വെച്ച് കോളേജും വെച്ച് തുടങ്ങി തന്നെ എന്നാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹം അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ വിടില്ല എന്ന് ഇന്ന് എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പറഞ്ഞു, സീപ്ലെയിൻ അത് ചെയ്യണം, അത് പറയണം. അപ്പോൾ ഈ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഈ നേവിയുടെ ആളുകൾ, ഇപ്പോൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളുകളും അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ പോലുള്ള പഴയ ലീഡേഴ്സും എല്ലാവരുടെയും സപ്പോർട്ട് വേണം അതിന്. പിന്നെ MiG-21 നമ്മൾ നിഷിന് വേണ്ടി വാങ്ങിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളത് വലിയൊരു എയിമായിട്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഡ്രീമായിട്ട് അദ്ദേഹം കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ MiG-21 നമുക്ക് സ്വായത്തമാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഇദ്ദേഹം ഹരികുമാർജിയെ പോലുള്ള പഴയ ലീഡേഴ്സിൻ്റെ നിങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും അനുഗ്രഹവും സപ്പോർട്ടും വേണം. ഇത്രയും പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലത് വരട്ടെ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നിർത്തുന്നു. ജയ് ഹിന്ദ്.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating speech. Before we conclude, one announcement. All the students, along with the mentors and teachers, are requested to be back here by 2:30 p.m. for a presentation of video on Indian Navy, and also a presentation of information regarding the opportunities available in Indian Navy by Lieutenant Commander Mr. Rahul from Indian Navy, Thiruvananthapuram. I am happy to invite Dr. S. John Leon, Head of Department of Marine Engineering, to propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished Chief Guest Admiral R. Hari Kumar, Chief of Naval Staff, Indian Navy, respected Chancellor, Honorable Pro-Chancellor in absentia, esteemed Vice Chancellor, dignified Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrar, Controller of Examination in absentia, Directors, Deans, staff, and my dear students. It's my proud privilege and honor to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion of Milan with Admiral held in our esteemed organization. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Admiral R. Hari Kumar sir and madam, for gracing this function. Your esteemed presence, delivering an inspiring address and interacting with our students, your words have truly motivated us and will remain a guiding light for our future. Thank you, sir. I express our sincere thanks to our Chancellor, Dr. A.P. Majid Khan, for his constant support and encouragement in organizing this event. Thank you, sir. Our sincere appreciation goes to our Pro-Chancellor, Sri M.S. Faisal Khan in absentia, whose constant support and encouragement have greatly contributed to the success of this event. I extend my sincere gratitude to all the veteran naval officials for gracing this auspicious occasion with their presence. Thank you, sir. Our special thanks to Vice Chancellor Dr. Tessie Thomas for her dynamic leadership and for presiding over this program. Thanking you, madam. I also take this opportunity to thank our Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrars, Directors, Deans, faculty members for their cooperation and contribution in making today's event a grand success. A big note of appreciation goes to the NCC, Naval and both wings for impressive guard of honor and who all took part in the cultural and ceremonial segments of the program. Last but not least, I thank our beloved students who are the true spirit of NISH for their enthusiastic participation and warm reception to our distinguished guest. On behalf of NISH, I once again express our deep sense of gratitude to everyone who made this event successful. Thank you.
So the announcement again, all the students along with mentors and the teachers are requested to be back here by 2:30 p.m. for a presentation of video on Indian Navy and another PPT presentation of the information on the opportunities available with the Indian Navy by Lieutenant Commander Rahul from Indian Navy, Thiruvananthapuram. Now let us all stand in unison for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे